Okay guys, to start off this video, we're going to be installing the intercooler, which is the first part of the Huron Speed Turbo Kit. And we also are going to be putting on the Midwest Chassis bumper support for the turbo application. Alright guys, so here we have the hot side components of the Huron Speed Turbo Kit. I took out all the insulation because I kind of already unboxed it to get some clamps that I needed for the cold side that was in this box. But usually it's insulated really good for shipping wise, nothing gets damaged. Literally it has like some foam that they use that expands around the material. But as you can see, this is a custom kit, so they do have a custom order section where that you're allowed to request modifications. So for me, this is a T6 kit, but it has a basically T6 5 to 4 inch downpipe that goes through the K-member. So I want to exhaust at the back. I didn't want it to exit out the bumper because I like my full interior street cars with exhaust at the back. So that's kind of there. So today we're probably going to be wrapping this kit up. I'm not going to be using this wrap. I have some other wrap I'm going to be using. And then we have the turbo in there. I'm going to be unboxing that turbo and you'll see what turbo I'm going to be running on this car. So yeah, I'm gonna get some gloves and start wrapping this thing. All right guys, so I ended up getting all the exhaust manifold gaskets all heat wrapped. Half of this is from DEI, the other half is from the Huron Speed stuff. So this is all Huron Speed there, and DEI is these two. So we'll see over time how that they color, if that they turn white or not. But the DEI stuff supposedly is really good, so we'll see how everything fares out in the end. Everything is use exhaust clamps and stuff like that to end up holding it down and keeping it tight. So we'll see how that is. If it's not good, may take it off. I don't know yet. But mainly the downpipe I really wanted to wrap because that used to get really hot and cause a ton of engine bay heat. Also, another part is this. This is a two-part. There's a clamp under here. This is a separate band here. So you still can kind of hint that this is something different with the little welds in comparison to the other Huron Speed welds. But we'll see how everything fits up and I'll get this kit on. Alright guys, so we ended up getting the hot side on for most of the turbo kit. It was definitely a challenge and a tight squeeze, but it is on here. Still gonna have to get the wastegates on and get the turbo on, mock everything up and see if it all fits up. So that's what we're gonna do next, and unbox the turbo and everything. Alright, so let's get this thing opened up. And if you can tell what that is, give you props. Random car alarm going off in the background, but this is a 8096 T6 turbo with a billet wheel. That's what we're going to be running on this build. Pretty massive turbo. I'll fit it on and see how everything works. So all the hot sides on, the turbo is on, but as you see we got the downpipe on, all hot side and everything is all bolted in and tight, sealed up. So yeah, the hot side of this turbo kit is complete. I just need to put the wastegates on and that's pretty much it. So major progress today. All the hot side and everything is on and looking good. All right guys, so a little bit of update from last part. We ran the fuel system. This is the 8 a.m. feed line. They have a 6 a.m. return line that's here. As you can see, I have my alternator relocation bracket on. The intake manifold is not exactly on here, but it's just kind of like mocked up. This does have screws holding it in. I think the game plan next is I have the harness already back. I don't quite know if I want to do that yet, just because it'll be a lot more wiring in here. I think get everything but the engine harness done, all the hard lines and everything else like that, and then do it. I've also been trying to decide if I'm going to do a Holley low ram or not. I do have this LS3 intake that I'm currently borrowing from a friend, but I may use a low ram instead just because of the appearance wise. Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to see how everything looks and then make more of a decision on what I want. So I'll update you guys whenever I have some more progress. Here is the new game plan. I ended up trying to put on the drain for where I have it drilled in the pan and it's too short, so I just need to remake it. So Huron Speed does include a nice PTFE drain line, but I just decided that I needed to drill and tap the oil pan in a different location, so it needs to be longer essentially, so I can't use it. Now, I'm gonna be honest, Huron Speed does make great products. They make great turbo stuff, etc. Great kit, but I have had problems with the feed lines leaking multiple times. This car, both of the feed lines ended up leaking a ton. One of them instantly, and I had to replace it on the passenger side, and then recently, about, I don't know, a month or so ago, on the driver's side, that one started leaking. And on my turbo truck, the line also started leaking pretty much immediately. So this time around, I'm not even gonna bother with this feed line because, you know, I just honestly, it's not worth me blowing up oil line, and then I have all this exhaust wrap here, and it would just be a complete mess. So if you know, once it gets in there, I'm still kind of burning off oil whenever that one was leaking. So once that gets on any of your stuff, it's pretty much whatever. And as you can see, it's a PTFE line. You can see it's flared there, and it's flared on the other side. So it is PTFE, but I'm just not a fan. This fuel system on this car, I have a full fuel system of PTFE I could have done on this car, 80 in feed, 80 in return, left over from that car. But honestly, after doing it once, it's not something that's worth it. AN line is giving me less hassle. I need to just create a new drain for this car. I'm waiting for the feed to come in. It's a braided feed. Intake wise, I know that you guys know that I have this L3 intake on, and honestly and truly, it doesn't do a lot for this engine bay. I am a stock intake fan. You know, on that car I had a stock intake. I still have one on that car. Actually, it makes 1,000 wheel plus, but aesthetically wise, it's just not it. So many of you guys know, like, the goal of this car was not to make a ton of power. It's just mainly it to be a clean build, and this intake's not doing it for me. You know, so I will put a low ramp. So that low ramp should be coming today, and we'll see how that it fits and how that it looks, and see if they see we cleaned it up. We get the plugs in. I just finished gapping them. Put the coils on, mount that up, button everything up like that, and start on doing the battery relocation and go from there. I decided in the end, originally I was gonna run the fuel pressure regulator in the back there against the firewall, but you know, once that this hose goes on there, you know, it's kind of gonna be all in the way, and then it's gonna probably look pretty cluttered back there. So instead I'm gonna do like what I have on the C5, is in the fender there. I have the fuel pressure regulator mounted, but I'm going to get a return line that runs here, goes through this hole, goes through here, and comes up, and I mount the regulator here remotely. This will all probably have a shroud over it, so it won't even expose to like water or anything else like that, which is why this is kind of so dirty, because it never sees washing of any sorts. Finally, it is here. I've been waiting all day for this package to come in. It's now dark outside. FedEx finally came around, so let's get this thing unboxed and see what's inside here. Right, got that, the lid and the lower. Let's get this thing all assembled. All right, guys, so I ended up mocking up everything. So the throttle body's all mocked up, and so is the alternator. Still need to take all this stuff back off and do the brake booster fitting in the back. But I think for now, for today, what I'm gonna work on doing is running the fuel feed and return lines, and then next just need to run the harness. But as you can see, the harness and everything else will be tucked through here. I'm gonna finish wiping this off. But I don't know if you can see, but there's a hole directly here. There's a hole there that will connect this harness together. And when I get the wheel well liner on, so it'll be tucked under there, and you won't be able to see anything. The regulator is mounted there. I need to get the fitting for this one, so that's kind of just waiting on that. As you can see, I decided to run them both through this hole there, and goes up around and behind the brake booster and up and around. That way you won't be able to see the lines and everything's done. You can see I got the blow-off valve finally on over there. Both of those things have air fittings in on them. I have the turbo fitting done on there for the air fitting, and I have both wastegates on the car. You can see one wastegate there, and way down there in the corner you can kind of see the other wastegate peeking down there. So both wastegates are on the car. So I just need to do the air lines and plumb everything up to the MAC valve, which I have here. And once that's done, I'll be able to move forward from there.